Attention passionate Chicago, Bears fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago Bears fans. Let's get to the news now, guys. What I'm about to tell you is straight out of the NFL rumor mill, and it could be one of the most game-changing moves we've heard about in a long time, especially for the NFC North. There's a lot of chatter lately about a potential trade that could shake up the division, and it involves none other than Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions' star edge rusher. Yes, you heard that right. The Lions, currently sitting at 8-3 and chasing a playoff spot, might be trading away their top pass rusher to the Bears. And the reason? It's all about cap space and rebuilding strategies, and the Bears could be the winners here if this deal goes through. Sources close to NFL insiders like Adam Schefter and Diana Rossini have been floating the idea that after the trade deadline, there's a strong possibility of a deal where Detroit sends Hutchinson to Chicago in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. That's right. Imagine the Bears picking up a player of Hutchinson's caliber, a guy who's been a dominant force on the edge all season long, and doing it with a future first-round pick. It's a bold move, but one that could redefine the Bears' defensive front and significantly boost their Super Bowl chances. Let's take a closer look at what this means. The Lions, despite their solid 8-3 record, are facing some financial hurdles. They're tight on cap space, with around $22 million in cap crunch for 2026. That's a big problem when you're trying to extend Goff and rebuild a secondary that's been exposed at times. Detroit is also spending heavily on their offensive line, about $14 million, trying to keep that unit afloat. Meanwhile, their defense has allowed 28 sacks so far, which is quite a lot, especially considering the division rival Packers are also making noise on defense. Now, Hutchinson's numbers this season are nothing short of spectacular. In 11 games, he's tallied 28 solo tackles, 12 assists, and a whopping 5 sacks. That's not just good, it's elite. His PFF pass rush grade sits at an impressive 92, 8 with a win rate of 27%. For those who follow advanced stats, that EPA per snap of -0. 14 shows how impactful he's been at disrupting quarterbacks. He's also racked up 52 QB hits and forced 2 fumbles. In terms of pure production, Hutchinson has been a nightmare for opposing blockers, and his ability to get after the quarterback has made him one of the top young edge rushers in the league. But what's really interesting is how his career trajectory is shaping up. Hutchinson, still just 24 years old, has already accumulated 28 sacks in his young career, and he's been a double-team target with a rate of 26%. That means offenses are still trying to neutralize him, and he's succeeding despite the extra attention. He's averaging 6.2 hurries per game, which is above the league average, and he's been a relentless pursuit machine. After suffering an ankle injury in Week 5, Hutchinson returned with a vengeance, posting 4 sacks in Week 8 and forcing the offensive line to double-team him constantly. His success rate against the run is also impressive, 82%, which means he's not just rushing the passer but also setting the edge and stopping the run effectively. Now, why would the Bears go after Hutchinson? Well, for starters, Chicago's pass rush has been underwhelming this year. They've only combined for 22 sacks, which is well below the league's top defenses. Adding Hutchinson would instantly elevate that unit, especially when paired with a guy like Montez Sweat, who's been a disruptive force himself. The Bears are looking to bolster their front seven, and a player like Hutchinson would be a perfect fit for their defensive scheme, bringing youthful energy, relentless pursuit, and a game-changing presence. The potential duo of Hutchinson and Sweat could turn the Bears into one of the most feared pass-rushing units in the league. From a strategic standpoint, this move makes a lot of sense. The Bears, currently sitting at 4-7, are in a rebuild mode and need to accelerate their defensive development. Acquiring Hutchinson would send a clear message to the division. Chicago is not here to just compete, they're here to dominate. With the talent on offense led by Justin Fields, who's been developing into a true dual-threat quarterback, the Bears need a defense that can keep opponents in check and create turnovers. Hutchinson's ability to generate pressure and force sacks could be the missing piece to make this team a playoff contender soon. On the flip side, the Lions are in a bit of a tough spot. They're contenders but have a limited cap space, which forces them to make tough decisions. Extending Goff is a priority, but they also need to rebuild their secondary, which has struggled at times. Trading Hutchinson might be a signal that they're prioritizing future assets and cap flexibility over immediate defensive dominance. The move would be a gamble for Detroit, but one that could pay off if they get a high draft pick and free up cap space to make moves elsewhere. This potential trade also has ripple effects across the division. The Packers are quietly building a solid team, and if the Bears get stronger on defense, it could push them even further into playoff contention. The Vikings, always lurking, might find themselves in a tougher spot if the Bears' defense improves significantly. It's a division that's fiercely competitive, and moves like this could tip the scales. For Bears fans, it's an exciting yet nerve-wracking time because you're watching a franchise that's been rebuilding for years finally positioning itself for a serious run. Now let's talk about Hutchinson's impact if he joins Chicago. This kid has already shown flashes of being a franchise-level pass rusher. His ability to generate sacks, pressure, and disrupt the backfield is exactly what the Bears need to turn their defense into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. His presence would allow Chicago to rotate other pass rushers more effectively, and the team's overall pressure rate would skyrocket. That in turn would lead to more turnovers, more quick stops, and fewer points allowed. Additionally, the Bears' front seven would become a nightmare for offenses. With a duo of Hutchinson and Sweat, teams would struggle to establish the run, and they'd face relentless pressure on every passing play. The secondary would benefit immensely from the pressure up front, leading to more turnovers and fewer big plays allowed. It's the kind of upgrade that could propel Chicago from a middle-of-the-pack defense to a top-5 unit, something they desperately need if they want to make a real push in the postseason. Of course, nothing is certain yet. The NFL trade market is notoriously unpredictable, and deals like this are complicated by cap implications, draft pick negotiations, and team priorities. But if this trade does happen, it's going to be one of the most talked-about moves of the offseason. It could redefine the NFC North, leaving the Lions in a tough spot cap-wise, and possibly setting up the Bears as the division's new defensive powerhouse. The fans should be excited because this kind of move signals a franchise that's serious about competing now and in the future. And let's not forget, Hutchinson's career is still ascending. He's young, talented, and hungry for success. His addition to the Bears would be like adding a cornerstone piece, a player who can anchor the pass rush for years to come. It's a move that could spark a new era of dominance for Chicago's defense, and by extension, the whole team. The question now is whether the Lions will pull the trigger or if the Bears can convince Detroit to part ways with their rising star. Either way, it's a story worth following closely because the NFL offseason just got a lot more interesting. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Chicago Bears news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And look folks, this potential trade isn't just about adding a great player. It's about signaling a shift in the NFL landscape, especially in this division that's been so fiercely contested over the past few years. The Bears are clearly trying to accelerate their rebuild, and bringing in Hutchinson could be the catalyst for a much bigger turnaround. Imagine a Chicago defense that's elite, that can consistently pressure the quarterback and force turnovers, something that could elevate the team from a hopeful contender to a legit Super Bowl threat. That's the kind of impact this move could have. Plus, it's worth mentioning that this isn't just a short-term fix. Hutchinson's young age and proven production suggest he would be a core player for years, helping to establish a winning culture in Chicago. The front seven would become a nightmare for any offense, and teams would have to game plan around him, giving the Bears a strategic advantage on defense. The addition of a player like Hutchinson could also open up opportunities for other young guys on the roster, creating a ripple effect that transforms the entire defense into a cohesive, relentless unit. In the end, the NFL offseason is all about bold moves, trades that can reshape teams and divisions. What we're hearing now about a possible Hutchinson to Bears deal is one of those moves. It's a gamble, yes, but one with enormous upside. For the Bears, it's about taking that leap forward, about saying, we're here to contend now, and about building a defense that can carry the team deep into the playoffs. For the Lions, it's about managing their cap and roster strategically, knowing that losing Hutchinson is a tough pill but may be necessary for their long-term plans. So Bears fans, get ready because this story isn't over yet. Keep your eyes peeled for official news, but in the meantime, dream about the possibilities. Imagine Hutchinson in the navy blue and orange, wreaking havoc on quarterbacks, leading the Bears' defense to new heights, and helping them chase that elusive Super Bowl. It's an exciting time to be a Bears fan, and whether this trade happens or not, it's clear that the team is on the cusp of something big. The future is bright, and the defense could be the spark that ignites a new era of Chicago Bears dominance. And now, Chicago Bears fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Chicago Bears. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Chicago Bears news.